well, that's a 28 week size head.
I'm like, 28 weeks?
And I'm like,
that's 6 months.
Hey, it's Miley J.
And
Trey.
Good job. Miley J and Trey. And you're the N?
hi, welcome back to our channel.
Today we are talking about when you were in my tummy
Yeah.
for 6 months and I didn't know.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
What do you remember?
You were listening.
She
What?
wasn't listening?
What did you say to me? What did you say to me when you were in my tummy?
Mama in your tummy.
You said, Mom, you're in my tummy? And I just wouldn't listen?
No.
Did you try like hitting it? Like, Mom, I'm in here.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't listen?
No.
Aww.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. So basically, like it says in the title, I didn't know I was pregnant for 6 months,
Yeah.
right? When I went to my first appointment, I was 28 weeks, right? So a little over 6 months. And a lot of people probably think that's insane and think I'm stupid.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, do you think I'm stupid? No. You think I'm smart? Yeah, you are too. So, and I would have said the same thing before.
Like, how is that possible?
Yeah, like they
if
have
I'd
those.
heard that, like, how, like, you don't know that you have a baby in you for 6 months?
Yeah, so I would have like made fun of that show, like didn't know I was pregnant, but then that was us. So there's multiple reasons how logically we didn't know.
Miley was on what?
I was on the depot birth control, and the depot, I mean, it commonly gets rid of your period. That's a very common side effect of it is that your period could just go down to like spotting maybe every once in a while, or it can disappear
Right.
completely. And so I've been on it for a while. Maybe Naya, do you want to go in the other room for a minute?
Right. Okay.
Okay, why don't you go sit down in there?
Take your
Okay,
black
go play with your
blanket.
toys, okay?
Take your black blanket.
I'll tell you when we want you back.
Okay.
Bye. I was on the depot shot. I think I was on it for over a year before I got pregnant. I didn't really have periods. I hadn't had a period for a long time. I would just spot every once in a while, but that was because of my birth control. So then, yeah, so we were in St. Louis to visit your family, and that was the last time that I spotted a little bit. You're hungry? What do you want?
Oh, macaroni and cheese. Okay, just give me 5 minutes.
No.
Okay, well.
Can you be patient a little bit? Why don't you go get some goldfish in the meantime, okay? What do you want then?
You want Cheetos?
No.
Okay, of course.
Okay, let's
Okay.
get you some snacks real quick. So, when we were in St. Louis visiting his family, I spotted a little bit, and then that went away. We came back home, and a couple weeks later, around New Year's Eve, apparently a child was conceived. But we had no idea, and I was on my birth control. I never lapsed, I was always on time. And so then I didn't have a period for a long time again, which
But
was
I thought that
normal,
was just normal,
because I
been like
already
that.
didn't really have periods.
She had when we look back on it, things were for sure duh, how did you not know? But because the birth control also make you gain weight, which she has been doing, but she also was doing a lot better with her eating disorder.
Yeah.
And so we just thought hey, she's just doing better, and which she was.
I had been, so I knew, so I was gaining weight, but I also knew consciously that I was eating a lot more. Before around New Year's, I had only ever gone, I think 3 days without any eating disorder behaviors. And then suddenly I just had this newfound motivation, and I went 6 months and without any, and I was just doing really well with my eating disorder. So it was obvious that I was gaining weight because I was doing better. I knew that was going to happen, and I also, because of that, I wasn't weighing myself. I knew I couldn't weigh myself while in recovery, so I didn't know exactly how much I was weighing because I wasn't weighing myself.
Right.
Or else then maybe I would have been more alarmed. But at the same time, if I would have known how much weight I was gaining, I would have fell back into it. There's no way I would have kept recovering if I would have realized I had gained 40 pounds or whatever it was. Then I started having these other symptoms. So now this is the end of June.
Yeah.
So I supposedly conceived around
December,
New Year's.
yeah.
So
31st-ish.
December 31st, January 1st.
Around there.
And then now we're at the end of June. I was peeing like crazy. I had all these bladder issues. I went in but there was no pain. So I'm like, it's not a UTI. Like I've had UTIs before. I'm just peeing like 50 times a day. So I went to the doctor. He told me I had a UTI even though it came back negative.
Yeah.
And then
I didn't even prescribe you like medicines and
yeah,
stuff?
like he gave me antibiotics even though I got a call a couple days later saying it was negative, that I didn't have a UTI. So, and then after that, I knew I was low on.
Because we used to go donate.
We would donate blood
plasma, and she could never do it. She could never do it, so they were like,
because I don't know.
She was low on
for anyone else that is poor and donates blood, even if you have money, it's so good to donate blood plasma.
Money.
It's like such good extra income.
Like
even now, during Trey's off season right now, we're both probably gonna start donating blood plasma again because it's like an extra, just like $500 for doing nothing.
Yeah, it's just you sit there and it's easy. Like we did it a ton when I was in college. Like that was a
donate blood plasma
for sure.
But yeah, so I kept, when you go to donate, they check like your protein levels and iron and all that. And I kept getting denied, like my levels were too low. And it just didn't make sense because I was taking like so much of everything that I was low. I was like on purpose just like taking so much. So I was just like, I went to my mom and was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Like can you make me a doctor's appointment? Because my body is not absorbing any nutrients. Like I'm not, like something's wrong. Like I thought I had like an autoimmune disorder. And I wanted my mom to make an appointment for me because I just have anxiety about calling people on the phones. I still do. But more so at the time how old was I, 20?
Yeah, you should have been past.
And I didn't, so yeah, I asked my mom, we were visiting at my mom's house and asked her if she would make me a doctor's appointment because my body wasn't absorbing nutrients and I was having these crazy leg cramps in the middle of the night.
Middle of the night.
I was just having Charlie horses where I would Trey would just be sleeping and I'd just be sitting up just like freaking out, and he would just like be so annoyed with me waking him or I probably would sleep through it. He sleeps through anything. And it was just so frustrating. It was like the worst pain ever. And,
yeah, I remember that was that.
And I was taking so much stuff to stop that and nothing was working. And so I'm like, Mom, something's wrong with me. And my mom said, I had all those symptoms when I was pregnant.
And we're like, okay, well, that's not it. So
yeah,
let's get an appointment.
My mom's been pregnant 7 times. I'm number 6 of 7 kids. So she knew a lot about pregnancy and said, the only time I've had those symptoms that you're explaining is during my pregnancies. You should take a pregnancy test. I said, well, that's not possible.
Like
I said, that's not possible because I haven't had a period in over 6 months. Little did I know, I hadn't had a period for over 6 months because that was my last missed period. I was 6 months pregnant. Mom, there's no possible way I'm pregnant. I'm on birth control that makes me, I haven't had a period in the last 6 months, so I'm not ovulating, like I'm not pregnant. Right. And she said, well, like humor me. I will do your work for you and call the doctor and schedule you an appointment if you take a pregnancy test first.
Okay,
so I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's go to we went to the dollar store. I'm like, both of us still are like, there's no way I'm pregnant. Like, I'll take this test so that my mom can call
make the appointment and see what's really going on. And so then I remember we go and we buy the test, like a little cheap little dollar store test. Now I'm at home and I'm playing a video game, and she go take the test. Then she's like, Trey. I was like, what? Like, I'm playing my game. Like, I didn't think too much of it. And she's like, it's positive. Like, no, it's not. Like, no, it's not. I continue to play my game. Like, it's not. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And it's not positive.
I mean, I've taken a lot of pregnancy tests now,
like,
but I mean, it was positive. The second I peed on, it says like, check within the first or wait 5 minutes and then wait 3 minutes and then check or something like that.
That line was
the second I peed on it,
solid.
It was like.
And I was like, no, you're not. Like, I'm sitting playing my game. Like, I don't believe that. Like, I still thought like, no, it's not right. And so
we literally didn't break eye contact. I walked out and was like, Trey, this thing's positive. Trying to show him. And I'm Trey playing my video game. And he's just like,
nah.
No, it's not. I'm like over here. And he's just like playing 2K. And he's like, nah, you're reading it wrong. And I was like, no, Trey, it's positive. And he's like, it's false positive. Like, you're not pregnant.
Right. I was like, that's not real.
And so I start getting my shoes on. I'm like, we're going, like, I need to go to Planned Parenthood.
I'm like, why? Like, you're not pregnant. Like, why are we going there?
You're thirsty? Okay, Naya's thirsty. So Trey's playing 2K, and I started like, putting on my shoes, like, we gotta go now. And what did you say?
Why? You're not pregnant.
Well, yeah. You were like, we're going now? Wanted to wait till Monday. I'm like, yeah. I just got a positive pregnancy test. And you were just like, why? You're not pregnant.
I was in the middle of a game. Like, it was important. But
I'm like, well, it's time for me to get my next shot anyways. Or I was a little bit early,
it's like
but I was
a week
like,
or something.
I'll go
Going
in
to
and ask if I can get my next shot today, and I'll just ask them if they can do a pregnancy test first.
Right.
So it's exactly what I said. Is like, okay, I'm due for my next depot shot, but first, can I get a pregnancy test? And the girl was like,
They were like,
why?
Okay.
Like, she looked at my like chart. Why do you want to take a pregnancy test? Like, you've never been late taking any of your shots. Like, I don't think you're pregnant. It's highly unlikely. And I was like, well, I got a positive pregnancy test. And she still was
She's still like me, like, no.
She's like, are you sure it was positive? And so I finally told her, I'm like, okay, I want to take a pregnancy test because I got 3 positive pregnancy tests at home.
Well, she only took 1 test, I thought, at home.
But like, the girl wouldn't believe
But
me
she
to
didn't
do a
believe, so
test.
she lied.
And after the test, like, they scheduled everything for my next shot. And so
Thinking that it was gonna come back negative, like, okay,
Yeah,
we
so,
told
like,
this girl she's not pregnant.
I went back and did my pregnancy test first.
Mm-hmm. Now I was
And then
sitting
I
out
went
in
and
the
sat back
lobby.
down. The girl came out and grabbed me, and she pulled me aside a little bit and was like, do you want him to, is he coming back too? And I was like, oh no, like, he's fine. And she's like, you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm just getting the shot, like, he's fine. And she took me back to the room and sat me down, and she just said, well, you're pregnant, so do you want to go get him? I was like, okay, yeah,
So
never
I'm still
mind
in
then.
the lobby, in my head, like, I need to get back to my 2K game, like.
And I went out and grabbed
What are you
you.
doing?
Did I say to you out there, or I just said
No.
come back?
I
just,
went back,
like,
and then
so I went into the lobby and was
you
like,
said,
hey,
Trey, come back. And in my head, I'm still thinking, like, okay, this is.
I just
why am
wanted to
coming
hang
back
out with
for?
you.
Yeah. And so we go back there, we sit down, and then the girl, I don't know if you told me or the girl told me, like, so yeah, you guys are pregnant. And then Miley, I didn't cry, but I was like shocked. Miley cried.
I started crying. I was just overwhelmed in it. And I was just completely shocked and just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm pregnant. I was like, what are we gonna do?
Cause like you gotta think, like, she was raised Mormon.
It was already
and,
big
like,
drama that we lived together.
together and wasn't married. And
He was
had
just
a baby.
like, what do you mean? Like, you're pregnant. We're gonna have a
had
baby.
a baby.
He acted like he was very excited. I could tell. I mean, he was like shocked.
I mean, I was shocked.
We both were, but he was being very assuring.
Yeah.
Like, this is. You said this is awesome. You're like, no. What do you
Right.
mean? Like, this is awesome. Like, well, we're gonna have a baby. Like, this is
Right.
awesome. This is amazing.
And the crazy thing is, I always told my mom that I was gonna have my first child my junior year. And
College.
in college, and it happened.
So she says like, you guys are pregnant, and then she goes off like, when was your last period? I'm like, well, kinda way back in December. Like, I haven't had a period. And so she's like, okay, so I'll write on here that would put you at about 28 weeks or 29 weeks or something like that. And was like, that's not it, but like that's what I'm gonna have to put on here because that was your last period. So make an appointment, and then they'll tell you actually how long you are.
She had to call her mom now.
I called my mom and was like, oh, guess what? And she already was like, you're pregnant.
'cause
And I was like, yep. I don't even know how this happened. I still got on top of my birth control, and I hadn't had a period in so long. And Mom's like, well, that's what happens when you have sex. I was more crying of just, scared to
Because you gotta
tell
think,
everyone.
we're 20 and I was 19 actually.
Yeah. Which all of my sisters got married as teenagers, but I wasn't married. And so my problem was, okay, everyone, oh no, like, I didn't want to get married pregnant before marriage.
Yeah.
Which wasn't necessarily that I thought that was bad.
But we knew that.
But it just, I wanted to get married. Yeah, I knew that everyone else was going to judge based that. And then also the stigma of like, oh, like, so now when they get married, is it just because they have a baby? And so in my head, I was still thinking of like I was crying because of what everyone else was going to think.
And in my head, they didn't cross that.
And so I think that's why you were more just shocked and excited, and mine was shocked, excited, but overwhelming. Like, everyone is like just gonna be talking about this.
'Cause-
one, I'm stupid. How did I not know? My mom knew. Two, I'm really like, I'm pregnant outside of marriage. That's gonna cause problems in the Mormon community, and even outside of that, I wanted to just have the norm, like propose without any kids and be married for a few years, like travel just us. Like, I wanted that. It was more just like, this wasn't my plan, but but Trey was super, super supportive and excited. Probably just he could tell that I was so.
But she was so which is understandable. So after we call her mom, we call and make an appointment. We go in there for the appointment. I think they're gonna tell okay, like, you're like 10.
Yeah, this is like the very next day. I
our
was
first
anxious to
appointment,
go get an ultrasound done.
to see what it was. So we go back there, and the lady puts the does an ultrasound, and she says, yeah, that's what was like
Says, well, that's a 28 week size head.
I'm like, 28 weeks.
And I'm like,
that's 6 months.
I'm like, that's way back. That's my last period. That period in December.
Crazy.
And it's like, no. And she keeps like looking, and like that was when I was complete. Like I'm like looking at her like.
Cause like we got 3
What?
months, and then the baby gonna be here. Like we
Like,
just
that
found
was
out the
just
day before that
crazy.
we was having a baby, so then we had 3 months to even prepare everything. Like, we had nothing set up, like nothing.
So then yeah, she's like, well, you're 28 weeks. Like, so this is your third trimester now. You've entered your third trimester.
So that was appointments every
she's
other-
like, so now appointments are every other week. And I was like, and she said, and then obviously she was like, well, you're fine. Like, do you want to know what you're having? I said, yes. And it was a girl. I leave my appointment after finding out I'm 28 weeks pregnant. And I was working as a nanny at the time. I was watching some triplets. And I had to go right from my appointment where I found out I was 28 weeks pregnant to watch them. And I was so anxious because I'm like, I have to tell him I'm pregnant. Because at the time I was just like, I don't think that I was going to be able to watch triplets and my baby. So that was another stress too of like,
Right.
we're going to lose my income. And I'm about to have to tell them right now, like, not only am I pregnant, but like, I'm pregnant. Like, I'm quitting within the next 12 weeks. Like, you need to find someone because I don't know how much longer I can watch these kids. Like, soon I'm
Right.
going to be having a baby. And so I had to go to work, and I said, like, well, this morning I found out some crazy news. I was like, I'm pregnant. And he's like, oh, wow, like, congrats. And I was like, yeah, I'm 6 months pregnant.
Like,
And he was like, oh, which he honestly might have not been shocked. There probably were suspicious because a lot of people were suspicious of my body. I didn't know until afterwards. Then people kept telling me like, oh, we thought you were pregnant months ago. Like there was all these in comments of like, we've been thinking that you were hiding your pregnancy for months, which Trey is sticking to a story that it didn't cross his mind.
it didn't.
It 100% didn't cross mine because, and people
I
can
didn't
think
pay
that's
attention to it,
stupid.
like-
I will drop down some pictures of what I looked like during that time of when people thought I was pregnant. But at the same time, no one really takes pregnancy tests because you're gaining weight or because like, oh, my belly's blow. Like I cried like a week before I found out I was pregnant. I had to wear a specific dress, a tight skirt that I remember going into the bathroom and crying because I was like, I look pregnant. And when you don't think that there's a possibility that you're pregnant, let alone you're not showing at the beginning of your pregnancy, you know? So me looking pregnant was just like, I've gotten that fat that like, and I had never gained weight, so I didn't know what my body was going to look like when I gained weight. Which I do carry weight in my stomach more than anywhere else. So I was just crying in the bathroom, not wanting to go back out. We were at church for a family event, and I was just crying, just not wanting to come out because I'm like, I look pregnant. I've gained so much weight, and I was so sad. And it was that day that I found out that multiple people were asking, like my sister's friend had asked her like, oh, I didn't know your sister was pregnant. And she was like, she's not pregnant. What do you mean? And she's like, they were like, what do you mean? She looks like very pregnant. She's like third trimester pregnant. No one was saying these things to me.
It's like everybody was wondering, but us.
So then people, when they find out that I didn't know for so long that I was pregnant, they say things like, couldn't you feel the baby? Like being that far along? The answer is yes. Yes, I could feel the baby. So the day that I found out I was pregnant, that night when I was laying in bed, I could feel baby kicks.
I remember that.
But the thing is, it feels like gas. It feels like gas bubbles 100%. Until you're at like the very, very end where then like it's like really going, it feels like gas, especially if you're not thinking I'm pregnant. Which is why people after you've been pregnant, you experience things called phantom kicks, because really you're just experiencing gas, but in your mind you associate what gas bubbles feel like with baby kicking. So to you it's like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling baby kicking. It's just gas. So that night I was able to feel that, and so that's why I had been feeling that I guess for a long time, but I didn't even register, like I didn't, you just ignore those things. I just wasn't even considering it whatsoever. So like 2 days later, Trey was able to like put his hand on my stomach, like feel it from the outside that there was a definite baby in there. And see, once I found out I was pregnant, I had to think back 6 months earlier, because people would be like, were you never sick? And like, well, I have to think back to January. We're in July now. like, did I have the flu ever? And so there was like one time that I threw up in the morning, but I mean, yeah, like I just
outside
thought I
in the
had a
house.
stomach bug. I had like a list of things I needed to tell my doctor my first visit. Like, I've been hot tubbing, I've been taking, which one? I'd been taking my birth control. I'd taken my birth control shot twice, 2 or 3 times since I was pregnant. And so I was like, is that a problem? Like, I've been taking birth control shots. I've been taking all these like medicine or whatever, like drinking tons
Like
of
doing,
caffeine.
normal stuff.
I was slipping sliding on the beach.
Your
Like,
belly.
I was 5 months pregnant when we went to Hawaii, and yeah, we were like went on these crazy hikes, and like there was a slip and slide on the beach, and I'm in my 5-month pregnant belly running and slip and sliding on my stomach down the beach, like. So I mean, I was
popping out everywhere.
yeah, my boobs fell out.
But like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, so I'm like slamming my stomach on the sand, sliding down. I was doing lots of stuff. And so I had to tell him like, oh, I've been tanning, which who tans anymore? Don't tan. That was the last time I had, was during that pregnancy. Just do spray tan. So I was like, I've been doing tanning beds and hot tubbing all the time. The plus side is I don't drink. I've never drank ever in my entire life. So I didn't have to worry about that. Because that was like the one thing that could have actually been a problem.
Right.
Everything else, when I told my doctor, he basically laughed at me like, you're fine. Like, even now that you know you're pregnant, you can hot tub as long as you're hydrated. Like, you can tan.
Like,
I don't recommend it for your skin, but like your baby's fine. Like, yeah, everything. He was like, your baby's super cushioned in there. Like the slip and slide, you're fine. Like, you're fine. So that was nice that I didn't have the whole pregnancy of like researching, like, can I safely do this, and thinking I can't eat sushi and can't do this and this and this. Where I learned that my doctor was like, and he's a high risk doctor, so I mean, he knows what he's talking about, and like, he was like, you're fine. I'm so glad that we got pregnant. Like, our life would be so different if we didn't get pregnant when we did, but 100% that was what was supposed to happen. Yeah. Like, without a doubt, our life would be so different. And like,
like, you know what I'm saying, it was meant to happen because the odds were for sure against it.
Yeah. Like,
it was just meant for us to have that little baby, a little daughter, man. And she changed our lives.
Yeah. And here she is! Our miracle baby, huh? Were you a miracle? Do you know what that means? That you were just meant to come to our lives, and you are the best thing to ever happen to us.
For sure.
You're the best thing to ever happen to me?
Yeah.
You are?
100%.
I love you.
She changed everything, made us work harder, want more for ourselves, and all because of her, 100%.
You're the best. Yeah.
Yeah, it was an adventure, man. Then she came, and it was the best day of my life. It was life-changing.
Yeah. Have I told you about that? That when you were born was like the best moment of my whole entire life? Yeah. You're the best, huh?
Bye.
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 Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Mwah.
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 Like and subscribe.
Comment down below if you want to know anything more about the story that we didn't tell, any questions.
Probably missed stuff.
Because there's a lot that we tried to just fit into this video. So if there's more you want to know, comment. Hit the bell to get notified. We're going to post more. Yeah, thanks for watching.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Have a great day.